And we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Eric and Todd with you. Brady is on the way. So it's kind of our pregame show. We're recording episode 27 tonight. Want to give a promo out to, well, let me back up. I'm going to do the usual housekeeping duties. And there are the audio outlets, anchor.fm/ play it by your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast. You see them there on the bottom of your screen. Most anywhere you can find a podcast, you can probably find us. And what our main promo deal is tonight is we are promoting our YouTube version of episode 26. Currently only has 5 views, and we've been averaging about 20-ish. So just want to let everyone know it's still out there. Stop by and see it. Again, think video adds a little bit to the whole operation. So go to YouTube, search out Play It By Your Podcast, and find us there on, again, episode 26 just released a few days ago. And we'll release episode 27 on the same medium here later in the week. So we've been talking, we're going to stagger our releases of the audio and the video and see if that works out better for us, because there's a little editing involved, and trying to edit both at the same time is a little problematic for me. I'm the editor, so we're going to kind of stagger that out. So social media, Facebook or YouTube, you're probably watching on one of the two. Play It By Your Podcast on both. Twitter, Play It By Your Pod 2 with the @ in the front, and Instagram, Play It By Your Podcast with underscores between all the words and an @ at the beginning of that. If you'd like to interact with us, you can email us, playitbyyourpodcast2020@gmail.com. You can also leave a voice message. If you click a link at your podcast provider, you can leave a message and we'll edit it right into the audio version and the video version as well. So if you would like to do that, very fancy. We have all kinds of ways to interact with us.
Here's your one chance. Fancy, don't let me down.
Exactly. So, again, our purpose is to kind of promo episode 26 on YouTube. So I had a thing today I want to talk about. And Todd, I'm just kind of taking this thing over. So hi.
Go ahead. I'm interested to hear this. I haven't heard this, have I, about this thing?
No, you've not heard this thing.
Oh, cool. I'm hearing it with we have 3 people on. Say hello if you're 5. So say hello if you're joining us.
Yes. Chime in. So my thing today, and I want to get to where we can put the link out there in the comments so people can join us if you like. Got to remember how to find the link. Anyway, I'm going to talk while I'm looking. So I did a refinance on my house. And part of the refinance was that, you either refinance at a lower interest rate or you refinance to pay some things off, or both. In my case, it was both. Paying off some credit card debts, some student loan debts, some different things going on there. And I've refinanced before. This particular title company, which was handling the refinance, their deal was that they do not give checks that are made out to the borrower. If you're paying off things, they give out checks that are made out to whoever's being paid off, the creditor. So one of the creditors I was paying off was Bank of America and credit card. So I'm going to paste this link on here. If you want to join us, there's the link. You can click that link and come right on. Anywho, Bank of America was one of my creditors. So they gave me a check made out to Bank of America. I actually, instead of sending the physical check to them, went on the bill pay. I made out an account based upon the routing number and the account number on the check. And Bank of America sends me an email today saying my bill pay privileges have been suspended. My payment did not post, and I need to call them to get my bill pay privileges reinstated. So the bottom line, after I got shuffled off to 4 different people, the fourth of which was going to help me, then he hung up on me. So I had to call back, tell the same story 4 different times and 5 different times after I called back the second time. Bank of America tells me that they cannot accept money in check form from an account other than my personal account. So I'm trying to give them thousands of dollars. And just because it's not from my personal account, they can't accept it.
That's dumb.
Very succinctly said, yes. Dumb.
That is dumb. Yeah. I don't know. Like, so what's the workaround?
I call the title company and I say, hey, can't use this check to Bank of America. And the lady on the other end says, and of course the people I need to talk to were gone for the day, but she says, well, let me tell you something. Bank of America changes their rules every other day. So I guess Bank of America goes between, yeah, we'll accept the title company's check, or no, we won't. So apparently I hit a day where they won't accept the title company's check, and I'm stuck with this check for several $1,000s that I can't do anything with. So I don't know if the title company's going to have to make me out a check made out to me, and then I put it in my account and then pay off Bank of America, or what's going to happen with all that.
Can the title company do the fighting for you? Can they get a hold of the Bank of America and tell them what's up?
Well, I suppose they could, but I was told by the gentleman that I talked to finally, he said, it's our policy. We don't care who talks to us. If the money is not from your account, your personal account, we can't accept it. So I could physically walk that check into the Bank of America location in Eastgate, hand them the check, they could not accept
it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the other word, but that's dumb. Maybe somebody, I don't know, maybe we're down to 3 right now, but maybe someone listening has some,
Anyone have any banking experience and can give me some insight on that?
Yeah.
Because we also paid off a Discover card, and they were fine with it. Paid off the student loans. They were fine with it. Bank of America has an issue. So, first world problems. There you go.
Hang on. Somebody chimed in.
Oh, hey. What we got? Lauren Davis. I knew, Lauren, you ran a title company. Everyday occurrence. Bank of America and Chase by far the worst. And that's essentially, she didn't mention Chase, but the lady I talked to on the other end of the phone did say Bank of America is awful. So there you go. So Lauren, why do the rules change? Any ideas? Or is it just something that goes back and forth with no rhyme or reason? Why is it that I want to give everyone knows you the title company have the money. I mean, it's not like it's 1932 and we're running by paper check here. I mean, we can run those little numbers on the bottom of the check, the routing number and the account number, and we can put those in electronically. We know exactly how much money is in your account. So it's not even a case of the check's going to bounce. Everyone knows the money is there. And the answer to that, just like many things in life, because they can.
Because they can.
Yeah.
Well, then no regulation and big banks don't care.
So I believe essentially they would rather have me hanging on the line in the hopes that I would have to make a minimum payment for another month and they can get more interest out of me. That makes sense?
That's to me.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's,
the only thing I can arrive at there.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of refinances going on because interest rates are very good. And so if you run into that problem, Bank of America, and Lauren agrees, absolutely. It's the bottom line. They can squeeze some more money out of you through interest. So if you run into that little problem, if you have a Bank of America credit card or an account or whatever, beware. And according to Lauren, you can throw Chase into that basket as well.
So we could probably not count on Chase or Bank of America to sponsor our podcast now, Eric.
Probably not.
So that was mine. We have so many sponsors knocking at our door to.
Indeed. Lauren, how about your title company? Would you like to sponsor us? I'll put you right on the spot here on Facebook Live. No, just kidding. But if you want to, we can certainly discuss that. But anyway,
not the Facebook Live, the actual podcast.
Yeah, it's the actual podcast. So that was my annoyance of the day, Todd. What did you encounter on this day?
Man, I tell you, I didn't really have much. I had a pretty decent Monday. This is our week before we're off for the Highland County Fair, or lack thereof fair this year. There's not much of a fair happening this year, but and normally this week, the week right before we're off for the fair, I'm kind of giddy and kind of excited, and because it's just a nice break after the first 3 weeks or so of school. But I really had a hard time getting up this morning, and I think it might have been the rain. And I talked to several other teachers today who said the same thing. They were having a really hard time getting up today. So I guess maybe just a case of the Mondays and the rain. But I do have a funny story about my wife, who at lunch today came in and was talking about how bad her day had been going. And apparently she has one of like the big Bubba cups or whatever. And she had filled it with tea this morning, and I guess knocked it over whilst teaching this morning. And so she was trying to clean it up with towels, and the intervention specialist in the room was trying to help clean it up. And it was just too massive of a spill. So she called for a custodian to come down, and as much as she hated to kind of bother them, it was, trying to keep the kids in line, plus clean this up was getting kind of hard. And she said there's a knock on her door, and she looks out, and it is our principal coming in to clean up the tea. So I think she felt pretty bad that she had to bother the principal to come in, but it goes to show also that the principal, Eric, this as well, that the principal wears many hats.
Absolutely. And
it's probably something often either overlooked or misunderstood or just not known about principals, is that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Worst call I ever got as a principal. Get a call and say, got a problem down here. You better bring some gloves.
I've made that call before.
Yeah, well, fortunately, when I arrived at the destination, the gloves weren't needed, that the problem had taken care of itself, so to speak. And
how does that happen? Can you do that without getting too gross?
Well, let's just say we had an issue with personal hygiene, and that personal hygiene was taken care of by someone else before I got there, which I was very thankful for.
Yeah. I've had several. I think my second year around there somewhere, I had an issue like that, but it was an ongoing issue, and it was just always something to see my principal there in his nice suit, cleaning up feces off the floor.
Yeah, working in a school, you just never know.
No, you never know. But I will add, and I put a post about this back, Hillsboro. We were one of the first schools around that started it in person. And I put a post about this after my first kind of week was done. It was a 3-day week we started with, but which is traditional for us. It wasn't anything to do with COVID. We usually start on a Wednesday, and the first week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'll stand by my post then. The kids are doing great. I mean, the students are doing great. Little to no complaining about the masks, the extra cleaning, all the things that we're asking of them. And like I said on that post, it's the kids who show time and time again that they're more resilient and more tough than the adults, because all we heard, not just in the education world, but all we heard from everyone is before school was starting, is that these kids can't be expected to do this. They'll never be able to wear the mask. They'll never be able to, and turns out that, the adults were wrong. And sometimes adults just need to get out of the way and let the kids show them how it's done, because it's still continuing 4 weeks in now, where the kids are still troopers. They're not complaining at all.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I will second that emotion,
Mm-hmm.
as Smokey Robinson said. If you want to join us, the link is there in the comments. We'll be on for another few more minutes. And again, we're on promoting our episode 26 on YouTube. We only had 5 views so far, and we average around 20-ish. So I want to remind people it's out there. Go to YouTube, search out Play It By Ear podcast, become a follower of our channel, and you'll know when our videos are released. We will be recording episode 27 tonight, so the audio of that may be released tomorrow morning, maybe Wednesday morning, one of the two, but it'll be shortly, and the video a few days after that. So just let you know of our schedule coming up, and that's what we're looking at, and always looking for people to call in. We've only had 1 call in so far. We have this neat software. People can just take that little link over there and click on it, and we can bring you on and you can talk to us. But I think people just kind of like to loom around in the shadows and just listen, which is fine. You know, we take your support any way we can get it, but certainly would love to talk to people. Even if you want to type comments there in the comment bar, just talk to Lauren, who gave us a crash course on what title companies deal with and dealing with creditors, as I gave my annoyance of the day with trying to pay off Bank of America, trying to give them several $1,000s, and they objected to the method in which I wanted to give them several $1,000s, and now I'm kind of hanging out there. So anyone else have an annoyance of the day they would like to share, or a good thing of the day they would like to share? We certainly would love to hear that. Or if nothing else, we have 4 people in the room. Chime in over in the comments. Let us know you're here. We would love to know who's here watching us. By the way, Brady is he's in the process of joining us here. He's got things going on, so we want to get started with this, and so he could be ready to record, but he'll be joining us shortly.
So again, we haven't figured out exactly how much of a delay. Hello, Angie. I was getting ready to say, if you're one of the 5 that are have joined us on Facebook Live here, if you could give us a quick hello or a shout out or something. Obviously, we were speaking to Lauren, and now Angie has said hello. So if you can hear me and would like to, 7. So we'd like you to say hello, because again, we say this over and over again. We don't know how to see who is in the Facebook Live. All we can see is a number.
And it could be our incompetence, but
I'm sure it is. I'm sure that doesn't help anyway.
Link is again in the comments. If you want to chime in, join us face to face, you can do so. Click the link. We'd love to talk to you. And I had a pet peeve in my mind, and I had it in my mind earlier today. I thought I need to share this tonight. And of course, after my annoyance with Bank of America, the pet peeve went right out my ear, just left the station. Can't remember what it was.
So the bank, while being frustrating, kind of helped relieve a little frustration for you. Is that what you're saying? They just traded it.
Just traded it. It was a swap. Kenny in the house. Kenny Enlow in the house, and he told me a funny story at church yesterday, and I will only share it if he gives me permission to share it. But it was rather humorous. It was based upon our episode 26 discussion of back to school, and I haven't even shared this with the other 2 guys. But very funny story. If Kenny gives, like I said, Kenny, if you would like to click the link and share it yourself, that would be even better. But if you don't want to do that, I understand. But if you give me permission to do it, I'll share it, because, like I said, it's pretty humorous. So Angie says she had breakfast with your dad this morning.
My dad? How come I'm not seeing this?
Can you give me a thumbs up? You gotta look at the comments over there.
Well,
she said nothing annoying today, but started my day with breakfast with Chuck, Alma, and Jerry.
Very nice. Well, you can't.
School Sardinia. So did Angie, you can chime in as to what you talked about. We would love to hear about some old school Sardinia, but Kenny gave me the thumbs up to share his story.
Unless my dad was trash talking me, Angie, I don't want to.
Well, you know he was.
My ego can't. Well, I spent the day with
was-
him yesterday. So, I'll tell this real quick, Eric, and then you can share Kenny's. But so my dad and I had planned on doing some work yesterday. We're trying to prepare for the hot tub that my wife and I have coming, and he was going to help me with some electrical work. Well, we decided that we needed to go down to Watson's and talk to them about some things. And so I texted my son, who had spent the night with my dad and my mom and dad the night before. So I texted my son and I said, ask Dad if he wants to go down to Watson's with me here in a little bit. So my Ethan texts back and says yes, but he says he doesn't want any breakfast. And so I text back and I said, what makes him think I was going to ask to get breakfast? And then he texted back and said, well, because every time you go, you want to go out to eat and whatever. And I said, well, tell Dad he's getting a little bit too cocky because I wasn't going to ask him for breakfast. And then so like 5 minutes later, I said, but they don't open till noon. So I was planning on getting some lunch. And so I said, just tell, lunch. Exactly. So I told Ethan, my son, I said, just tell Dad that I'll pick him up around 11:30, then he can buy me lunch, and then we'll go on over to Watson's, and which he did, by the way. But my dad and I have a running joke that every time I buy lunch, we go to like McDonald's. Every time he buys lunch, I want to go to more of a sit-down type place that's more expensive.
Well, yeah. That's part of being the parent, right?
That's right.
You never get too old as kids to be treated by your parents.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody knows my dad. He's not one to let other people pay for things, but every once in a while he'll let me buy food for him. And
yeah, mine's the same way.
We even had milkshakes yesterday. Well, I don't think he wanted Mom to know he had a milkshake, so hopefully she doesn't hear this and find that out. But anyway, and he wouldn't let me pay for those either. So thanks for the milkshake and the lunch. I want to hear Kenny's story.
Yeah, okay, Kenny's story. So one of the things we talked about in episode 26, and you can see it on YouTube. It's out there right now. It was released a few days back. So go to YouTube, play it by your podcast, become a follower of our page. You can watch us on video. Anyway, we were talking about the unfortunate vomiting incidents that occasionally happen in schools. And we were talking about how those were dealt with back in the day with the I believe, Todd, you used the term magic dust.
It was custodian glitter.
Custodian glitter, yes, that was it.
Yeah.
So a vomiting occurred when Kenny was in third grade. Now Kenny's a little older than us, so I don't even know if I was in school yet, but it was, probably around the time I entered school. I don't know how much older Kenny is than me, but a little bit. Anyway, so that's the time frame we're talking about. So a girl in his third grade class had an unfortunate incident, had vomited. And in the meantime, after she had vomited and had been whisked away, obviously as sick kids usually are, the girl never returned. And I'm talking about not just that day, but ever. She disappeared forever. In the line of education, we call that a change of placement. So she was no longer in the classroom. She was assigned to another classroom, I guess. But Kenny, in his third grade mind, was of the opinion that, hey, I better not get sick here ever and vomit or they'll ship me off somewhere.
If I could tell my kids that, I probably would. Put that fear in them.
Yeah. So that was especially funny to an educator.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I might have told this on the back to school episode, but my number one rule in my classroom every year is we don't vomit in the classroom. And I've had pretty good luck. This is my 8th year and it hasn't happened yet. But
you find some wood to knock on.
Yeah, definitely. And but it obviously nothing. The rule, I jokingly tell the kids that, and they know that I'm joking. I let them know that, hey, there's no shame in it if it happens, but I also want them to know that they don't need to be raising their hand and asking me to go to the bathroom if they're going to be hoisting. And so I tell them that that's like the one time, if it's going to be an emergency and you can't wait, or you're going to throw up, that's the one time you can just run out of my classroom and not even tell me where you're going, and I'll figure it out. And so far, it's worked out pretty. I've had a few run out, but but I did have a sub. Again, if I'm getting to the age where I think well, we all may be getting to the age where we don't remember what we talked about on previous episodes. But I did have a substitute a couple years back where a student got sick and threw up on the floor, I guess, in the front of the room, and it kind of splashed on my substitute a little bit and on some desks. So definitely lucky I wasn't there for that one, because I would have been begging them to ship me off if that would have happened.
So Kenny graduated, he says, in 1984.
He graduated with my brother.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kenny.
So yeah, I was not in school yet. So this was prior to 1976 when that happened. So again, the time frame we're talking about. But 8-year-olds are 8-year-olds. You never really know what's going through their mind. So I would pretty much think an 8-year-old even nowadays would think if a kid had vomited in the classroom and then was whisked away, never to be seen again, they probably would be thinking the same sort of thing. I better not vomit in here.
Yeah.
Now, I know if you vomit in Mr. Griffin's room, he's running out the door. He'll be the first out the door.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. If I can get, as long as I don't have to jump over the puddle.
You could be trapped in the room.
Oh, I would be, yeah. I'd be trying to get out the window. Angie, I saw where Angie said she tries to sneak and buy breakfast for my dad every once in a while. That's very sweet of you, Angie. If he lets you, that's pretty impressive. So, but I appreciate you offering to buy him breakfast from time to time.
All right. So again, you can join us at the link there in the comment section. We're talking about just stuff, although we're promoting our YouTube episode 26, which is out there. We're getting ready to record episode 27 tonight, which will be out on audio here in the next day or two. And we're just talking about general things that happened to us today. I talked about my annoyance with Bank of America and not wanting to take thousands of dollars I wanted to give them because it was in the wrong form for them.
Here's something we haven't done in a while. There are 8 people. So the little icon tells me. How about some ideas for podcast topics?
Yes, we are looking for topics. I have some in mind, which I haven't shared yet in true play-by-ear fashion. But
yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I want to talk about tonight. I'll think of something. I'm never one to remain quiet for too long, but if anybody has any ideas that they would like to share, I would be willing to listen and consider anything that can be obviously TV 14-ish.
So let me throw this question out there while, and we'll have that past crime in Brown County. That's a good one.
Ooh. That's a good one. I'll write down.
Would you all be willing, I guess willing or not, but if we were to do a live recording of the show instead of like these Facebook Lives we do where we just kind of ramble on, but if we actually did a recording live of the show and put the link out there, people wanted to call in while we were talking about whatever topic we were talking about, we could put that capability out there as well, because we had kind of discussed that since we have this software that allows us to do that. And actually, we could do it when we were recording live with all 3 of us in the room. We could still take calls if we wanted to. So we do have that ability. So is that something you all think we should try once just to see what happens? I always wanted to host a live call-in show. That's kind of
there you go. While we're waiting for some replies to that, I would like to show off my mug. It's getting to be close to fall. Trying to get the glare out of it. I'm not very good at this. So this was a gift. I believe it was I think it might have been a housewarming gift for the new house here. Well,
is that your dog or is that just a general?
It's just a wiener dog in general, but it's a devil wiener. It's a wiener devil, and it's big. You can't tell the circumference. It's a big mug. I could probably dip my whole face in it.
Excuse me, I ordered the large latte.
But the bottom of it says Little Devil. So when you're done with your beverage, you can see where it says Little Devil. And I don't know if I said this when I started talking about it, but this was a gift from our friend Candace. I don't think Candace is a podcast listener, or probably I don't think she checks out our Facebook Live, but thank you, Candace, for my mug. I'm a fan and collector of mugs.
So there's 2 chime-ins for past unsolved crimes in Brown County, or could be past crimes in general.
Yeah.
A few come to my mind.
Yeah, I can think of a few. I can think of a few. Some of them are so far back, and the memory is so kind of, I guess, cloudy that I wonder if there's truth to some of them. Some of them might have been urban legends, local myths,
which we had as a topic early on. I can't remember which episode that was, but it was one of the, I believe, one of the single-digit episodes we talked urban myths and legends, or local myths and legends.
Yeah. I think we kind of stuck to the humorous route. Usually, I am a person who likes to interject some humor in just about every topic, but I'm not sure I can interject humor in past crimes. But that doesn't mean that I would not enjoy talking about it. I mean, it would be interesting for sure.
So Angie says history of Sardinia. I mean, I certainly could chime in on that. So what old school stuff were you talking about with Chuck and Alma and Jerry, Angie? Be interested to hear that. By the way, anyone wants to chime in with annoyance of the day or great things that happened today, either way, it's all good.
Yeah, I can't imagine that on a Monday there aren't some more people with some annoyances they would like to share.
And you mentioned rain and the makes it harder to get out of bed. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming the same reason why, like, think about it. You can buy sound machines and apps on your phone and things like that to help you sleep that are almost all of them have rain settings of various scales. And so, I mean, I'm assuming it's just if you wake up and it's raining, you feel like you should still be sleeping. I don't know.
Or is there a more scientific, psychological answer to it? I mean, does it have to do with the barometric pressure? I mean, tends to be lower when it's raining. Maybe that has something to do with wanting to stay in bed or something psychological about it. I don't know. Always wondered that.
It very well could be just a nice marriage of both.
Yeah.
Angie says that they always talk about who's related to who, where people live, and a few rounds of politics.
I thought everyone was related to everyone, so it's not usually a kind of a circular conversation. I always say that people in the Sardinia Brown County area have family wreaths, not family trees, because they always. I mean, my own family, and I mean Danny McLean's on here. He's my cousin, and he can attest to this. That and I swear there's no incest involved here, but my my father's sister married my mother's uncle. So they're not blood relatives, but like on one side of my family, I have cousins who are like my third cousins, and on the other side of the family, those same people are my second cousins. So it's kind of hard to explain sometimes. And I just kind of generally, I guess, look at everybody and say, hey, they're my cousin. They're related somehow. And Danny attests to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It is. You and me, Todd, you and me are almost related.
Yeah, damn near.
Yeah. So your mom.
We're up again it, but not in it when it comes to
exactly. Your mom and my aunt are sisters, but
yeah,
that marriage thing didn't happen there to make us fully related. But
yeah, Angie pointed out that my dad is a good judge of restaurants, so they talk about food a lot. That doesn't surprise me. I know I have talked in the past about my dad and our trip to DC, or any trip really, when it's pretty much everything revolves around your meals. So you had to make sure that you didn't get too far out sightseeing where you couldn't eat your lunch at a certain time and things like that. So he's a food expert.
A foodie.
Yeah.
Danny asked if those are double cousins. And so Kenny says that sounds like his family. So are there other people that have that thing going on like I do, where you're related to the same people on both sides of your family, just kind of differently? But and Angie with the hashtag branches crossed. I don't know. I think they're more intertwined than crossed. It's beyond crossed. So yeah, that's one of the things about living in the Brown County. So Kenny, where does that whole thing end up with you as far as your relationships and cousinhood and all that? She has a Chuck story.
Yeah, that's
the story.
That is pretty funny, Angie. I just picture my dad in his tidy whities, and his the funniest part about that is that he and my mom both wear breathing. They use breathing machines at night, so they have their breathing apparatuses on, apparati, and so they were both wearing. To tell the story, they were both wearing. They were in a hotel, and they were. I think it was near. They go to Renfro Valley. I think that's where it was, and they were in their hotel room at night, and they both had settled down to go to bed, and a drunk guy had, I guess, been given the key to their room or whatever. So he walks in the room. I imagine him walking in, seeing my mom and dad there with their face masks on.
That is classic.
And so my dad, that's the funny part. The scary part is that my dad he has his CCW, and he does carry, and he I guess he had his gun in his hand when he heard someone walk in the door, and he turned on his light, or the guy walked into the light or something, and it's where my dad was able to see that it was someone who didn't mean harm. And I guess the look on the guy's face was oh shit, I gotta get out of here. And he turned around and ran, and that was it.
Had the CPAP mask on and gun in hand.
Tidy whities, CPAP, and gun in hand. That's. I would love someone that's an artist to draw a caricature of that.
That needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah, but actually, very scary when you think about it. That number one, if he was someone looking to harm someone, how easily he was able to get in, and then number two, it very well could have been, it could have turned out badly for him. Just some innocent guy out drinking and stumbled into the wrong room.
So Kenny's grandpa's nephew married his grandma's sister. And what? So what is it? What does that make you related to these people? Is that like me, second cousin on one side, third cousin on the other, or some such thing?
Man, my eyes start to cross thinking about it. I can't remember. So my grandpa's nephew. So his grandpa's nephew would be his cousin. It'd be his cousin, right?
Yeah. But it would be like, let me think. Grandpa's nephew would be, I believe that's...
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be his cousin. Well...
Second cousin.
Second or third cousin.
Yeah.
Married his grandma's sister, which would be his great aunt.
Right. Yeah, Angie's coming. I had to leave the country to make sure I didn't marry a cousin. Yeah, Daniel must. I would love to hear Daniel's unfiltered thoughts about how people around here are related. And I'm sure he's just amazed by that, or maybe things are like that down in Haiti too. I don't know.
Yeah, I missed Danny's comment. Sardinia was a good place to grow up. Indeed, definitely was.
Yeah.
Kenny asked, "What does that mean?" I don't. I hope I didn't offend Kenny by my by my questioning of his. I'm just trying to figure it out. It's hard for me to figure out. Even yours, Eric, you explaining yours was made me go dizzy.
It does make you have to stop and think about it and how things are tied. And people, a common mistake is the whole second cousin versus first cousin once removed thing.
Oh, I hate that stuff.
So just a real quick thing. Your first cousin and your first cousin's progeny, so your first cousin's kids all the way out, will always be your first cousins, but they're removed. So, for example, Danny's my first cousin. Okay, his mother and my father are brother and sister. He's my first cousin. His kids are my first cousins once removed. Their kids would be my first cousins twice removed.
Gotcha.
That's how that works.
Gotcha.
So second cousins would be, let me think about this. So Devin is my second cousin because his mother, no, wait a minute. Let me back up. Danny's kids are my second cousins. Now I've confused myself. I should look this up on the internet because I was talking about this very thing.
Yeah.
I have people that are related to me on both sides. I need to figure out what they're called on each side. So Danny says I'm correct. I don't know which part am I correct about because I said both.
You said something that was correct.
Something in that whole thing was correct. I don't know which, but again, yeah, I'm like you. It makes my head hurt when I think about it. But anywho, so Angie, does that work that way down in Haiti too? Is like everyone in Daniel's settlement there, wherever he lives, are they all related to each other? Like Sardinia, is it like Sardinia South on the island of Haiti? Or I would be interested to know such things. Kind of things I think about, which kind of way my brain works. And second cousin are the same. I don't know.
I don't know either. I've never known. I never used the term once removed, twice removed. No.
Like I said, I know Devin's my second cousin, but okay, so here we go. Devin's grandpa, Richard Reedy, is my mom's uncle. Okay. So my mom's uncle's daughter, who's Devin's mom, I believe, is my second cousin. So Devin would be my second cousin once removed. I think that's how that works. I'm going to add Brady to the stream here. I think Todd may have frozen. Did Todd freeze because you came in? That could be. I don't know, Brady.
He might be frozen by my toxic masculinity that just stopped him dead in his tracks.
Oh, that is absolutely it, I'm sure. We were talking relationships as far as cousins and once removed versus second and third and all that.
I will be the first to confess. I have never understood. I don't know what. I still to this day don't know what once, twice removed. I don't know what any of that means. I've heard first, second, third cousins, but I absolutely have no clue what the removed means. If it's like an appendix, once it's removed, it can't come back. So I'm really unsure about that. I wonder that myself because I have 23 in me. And they talk about, could be a cousin so many times removed. I've never really received a satisfactory explanation of that.
Todd, you had frozen in that thinker pose.
I saw that.
That was awesome. That's the best freeze ever. It's like
I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's the longest I've ever thought about anything in my life.
Except with choosing Pop-Tarts. Have you ever got stuck there?
No,
cherry chocolate's like
I probably haven't had a Pop-Tart in 10 years.
Seems like you wouldn't get stuck between cherry and chocolate. Seems like you would get stuck on a berry of sorts, or chocolate is kind of off the grid compared to a berry-based Pop-Tart.
Well, I mean, it's different things. Do you want something fruity that could be mildly masqueraded as something healthy, or are you just going on chocolate sweet stuff?
Yeah.
So is it the sugar group or the pseudo fruit group?
So how far am I behind here? See, Danny says once removed is the child of your first cousin.
Okay, that was my thought.
Okay.
Which would be your second cousin, right?
No,
your second, huh?
It's different. It's different. Okay, so I was in the middle of my explanation when you froze in the thinker pose. Okay. So Devin's dad, or Devin's grandpa, Richard Reedy, is my mom's uncle.
Okay.
My mom's dad, my grandpa, and him were no, wait a minute. My mom's mom, my grandma, and him were brother and sister. So Richard's daughter, Kathy, Devin's mom, is my second cousin. I believe that's the way that works. So Devin is my second cousin once removed because Devin is Kathy's son.
Okay.
Now,
Give me the other example then, if you have one.
Trying to think of the second example. And it also has to do with Reedy's because my mom's mom, my grandma, who I never met, she passed away before I was born, but her maiden name was Reedy. So her brother married my dad's sister.
Okay.
So their children on one side were second cousins. On the other side were like third cousins. Like I said, I mapped this out once and I can't really remember. But so yeah, I have double relation.
A dual relative.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Kenny said he graduated in 1984. I am wearing my 1984 Reagan Bush T-shirt.
Yes.
84, if you can see it.
Very cool.
So
What's that? Kilroy was here?
nice.
Nice. You guys will yell at me if you see my
Domo
T-shirt.
arigato, Eric.
Hi.
I don't know what that was, but I liked it.
What in the Mr. Miyagi was that?
I don't know if that was indigestion or Japanese.
It's actually not vintage, Angie. It is it's what's it called? The term.
That was actually Paul the Fish Sturgeon doing a promo for the local Japanese restaurant.
It's new vintage. Is that a word? Modern vintage? New vintage? It's a throwback.
Yeah.
The shirt is Angie.
Modern. It's modern and vintage. It's
I
vintage.
believe she's asking, is that authentic? Did you buy that in 1984?
That's what I figured. Yeah, but I thought there was a term that they called, like when they do these throwback shirts. I think new vintage sounds like something I just made up.
The new dad is in the house.
What's up? Congrats.
Maybe Kyle's brave enough. I'm going to put no one's brave enough to click the link and join us. Kyle, click the link and you can join us live.
Yes.
And I'm trying to peer pressure people into joining us. We've only had one call in. We have
All the cool kids are doing it.
Yes, we have this software, and we want to use it. But people want to comment and in writing, and that's fine.
Can I do my $6 million man intro? They made the podcast bigger, stronger, faster. Now the people could call in. I still went. Oh man, I wish I had my $6 million man action figure because the best part of that was the ill-fitting leisure suit they had him wearing. You know, it's just like
I had that.
You had it too. I was part of the $6 million man fan club.
I noticed that I am I had natural light coming in my window here right in front of my face,
As opposed to Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It's getting darker.
And
I don't have my lamp on, so I'm doing this by candlelight. So I am I look like John Boy Walton writing in his journal before bedtime or something here.
Can I do it?
Sound like a big rooster.
I was going to say, or a cat getting shut in a screen door or something.
Right before he poops in your room. Oh, we should riff on how late it's acceptable to mow.
I guess if you have lights on your mower,
Man,
dark.
Yeah, when I bought my mower last summer, or well, into the summer before last, I know the salesman told me not to buy a mower with lights on. I think he knew that I was probably not probably a risk. So he's like, if it's dark enough where you need lights, you don't need to be mowing.
I go along with that.
Yeah.
When
Eric?
you run the risk of having limbs chopped off by mower blades, I think it's probably best
And not tree limbs.
Exactly.
Eric, do you remember in my old neighborhood that shall remain nameless, we had an eccentric neighbor that would mow his yard by light. You know, I remember the one time I think it was you with me for some reason, was camping in the backyard, had a tent set up in the backyard. It was like 11:15 at night, and the mowing was going on. And then, not exaggerating, Eric can attest to this. It's like it was a well-known.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I would say the hours of mowing should be 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah. It's the first
That
time
might
it's
be
ever come up.
That might be a good topic to find different things around the house or different kind of jobs that you see, yourself doing or neighborhood people, and talking about if there should be certain times that they should be performed in.
At Lake Winoka, we have quiet hours, I think, I think quiet hours begin at 10 p.m. Right. So I think all boating, on lake boating and mowing is supposed to,
cease.
It's supposed to cease because I'm going to get a lot of laughter and guffawing at this, but I always kind of had this thing I wanted to do when I had the boat. We sold it, going to get another one hopefully soon, but I always wanted to deck out in black and get a quiet mower and I didn't want to bother anybody, but I wanted to anchor right off the beach and do a beachhead, like a D-Day thing in the middle of the night just to see if I could do it. Like stealth spy movie, like sneak in on a Zodiac boat or something. So
paint under your eyes.
Yes.
Charcoal.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask the room here on another note.
Well, Angie did say when to vacuum after 10 a.m.
Okay, and that harkens my story that I've told on here before about my dad and his vacuuming habits, trying to rouse me out of bed when I was a teenager.
Shall I try to do it?
Apparently, he thought 10:30 was an appropriate time to vacuum, although my 16-year-old self felt that 10:30 was too early to get up. So he would take the vacuum cleaner and he would bang it on my door, and you'd hear the vacuum cleaner bang, 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 bang. So now I've told a story on Angie's next door neighbor, my father.
What's would he do it on purpose or?
Oh, absolutely. It was absolutely on purpose. He felt that I needed to get up. As a matter of fact, he would his comment to me was, "Get up and move." That was his comment.
Get up and move.
Get up and move.
So Eric, do it. We're on video now. What did you always wanted to do your father out of rebellion?
Yeah, my teenage rebellion, as Todd, you're entering into those years with your son, and it does happen. So I felt that I wanted to get up out of bed and kind of do a little dance and then lay back down and go back to sleep. Of course, I never did that. It was always in my mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't really remember. I will say I don't really remember. I mean, I don't really remember my mom and dad ever getting on me about getting up. But also I don't really remember sleeping in much until I got much older. Like up until probably the age of 16, 17, 18, I was usually up as soon as the sun came out, going and playing basketball or playing in the woods. But when I got to be driving and, dating and things like that, I definitely can remember laying and sleeping longer than I should have, but I don't really remember them bothering me. So I think I was pretty lucky in that regard.
Yeah. Annoying morning person here. I wasn't much of a sleep in person.
Chris says he vacuums when he thinks about it. He's a little more conscious now that he lives upstairs. and that's good. That's very good that
That's
you're
good.
conscious of your neighbors. Danny says that Aunt Wanda would vacuum at 6 a.m., which, and she was probably telling you all to get up and move at 6 a.m. too.
So I think you gentlemen both have Roombas, which I'm going to be
Yep.
getting soon. There's some people that program those to go, in the middle of the night while everybody's asleep. Are they noisy?
Can't they're not noisy. You can't do that though. If you have, I mean, you have spoken. As a matter of fact, we went into great length in detail about your shunning of your litter box, and if you have a cat that takes a dump in the floor, you have that thing going in the middle of the night. Guess what's going to be smeared all over your kitchen the next day?
Yeah,
The Kitty Crayola graffiti massacre.
Exactly.
I don't have a Roomba or anything of that. I think you're probably remembering I told the story of the review or whatever I read where somebody bought it and it had gotten a new puppy.
Yeah. But, because I always wondered, because I've heard of many people say, like, well, they just have it set up to do it while they're asleep. And I've, never really been around one, so I didn't know how loud they were.
No, they're not loud at all. Okay, so on another note, I just got a text, a random text. And this text is from Matt from Working America. And Matt from Working America says, COVID has shown CEOs get richer even while the rest of us are going broke. What do you think is the best way to change that? So I don't know what Matt wants from me here, and I don't know how Matt got my phone number, but maybe that's something you throw out here to the room. How do you think the best way to change CEOs getting richer while the rest of us getting poorer because of COVID?
Well,
man, that's a slippery slope, Eric.
That is a slippery slope.
That's borderline political.
That is.
I've got an answer.
Well, and I don't even need a political answer here. I need something to text back to Matt here.
I gotcha.
To,
I got
to
you covered.
show him that he doesn't need to be texting me about these things.
I don't like that lighting.
Here's what you need to reply, Eric.
Yeller.
You get the addresses of these CEO capitalist pigs, and we lick their doorknobs. We lick their doorknobs, and we get a tissue, and we wipe them on their car handles. I'm being facetious, of course.
I'm just trying to think of. I don't know.
Are you saying you have the COVID, Brady? Is that what you're?
Well, I mean, that's how we. I don't know. That's the most ridiculous.
I just don't know where you're going with that. I have no words.
I know something you should text back. It begins with to quote Doug, the famous Doug.
The philosopher Dougie Freeze.
Dougie Freeze and his frustrated retort to someone. I will just say that it ends with eat and ends with, or begins with eat and ends with Benjamin, and that's what you text back.
And there is a phonetically spelled word, BYAG.
as in the way the word was said, the dialect in which was used.
Bag.
Still one of my. Try that one, Eric. Try sending that and see what is it. Steven? What's his name?
No, it's Matt from Working America. So I don't know if Matt is a socialist. Or I don't know where Matt's coming from here. And again, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to get political here. Although I maybe could, but I really would like, and I'll throw this out to the room here too. COVID. Matt from Working America says CEOs are getting richer while the rest of us are going broke because of COVID. What should I tell Matt? How do we change that? And I don't need a political answer. I just need something to make Matt leave me alone.
How about you could say, I don't know, Matt, but my stockholders will be contacting you.
Well, I don't know if Matt would think I was the CEO or not.
Danny says, ask him what he's wearing.
like Jake from State Farm. What
Just
are you
say,
wearing?
I like pie.
What are you wearing, Matthew? Huh, Matt? What are you wearing, Matt?
Gentlemen, I can't repeat this, but if you would check your cellular devices, I literally just got this spam a couple minutes ago.
I get that same one, Brady. I get the exact same one.
And
I swear I have not Googled, looked, searched
me
anything.
either.
Yeah.
Me either.
Except mine says, I believe I can do that same. I can be that successful in 6 minutes instead of 5 minutes.
Step into my office.
Because you're fired.
We can keep this PG-13, but you could use your imagination. But it is selling pharmaceuticals to help gentlemen with certain issues. Dysfunctions, yes.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that or the need for that whatsoever. But I have not been interested or in the market for that product. I'm not sure why I'm getting texts from strangers. At least Eric, yours aren't doubting your performance. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know Dr. Oz was an authority in that area.
Dr. Oz? No, he'll probably just make you drink apple cider vinegar upside down or something.
Well, see, now my phone, I've set the setting to whenever I get a link, it gives me a preview of the link. I don't have to click the link. Did you actually click the link? It's Dr. Oz.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Because
so you get
he's a medical authority.
Oh, you're clicking on Brady's link. Okay.
Yeah, the link Brady sent, it gives me a preview of the link. It's Dr. Oz telling Brady how he can enhance his issues.
Yeah. I'm laughing at Brady's text right before that. Those darn clowns.
Yeah, quit punching those things, Brady. Of course, I guess you wouldn't need the medication if you were actually doing that. But.
Stop.
Boys. Well, gentlemen, we're an hour in. We do need to record.
No luck with a call in today. So I understand it's going to take people a little while to warm up to calling in to talk to us.
Yeah, it's Cookie is going to be the only call in we've had so far.
No, Becky's called in twice.
Oh yes, yeah, Becky did.
Good Lord, Eric.
now I'm in trouble.
Wait a minute, who's she?
Yeah, who is that?
Yeah.
And she's probably watching right now. Love you might know. She's the one who just left and went from 4 to 3. Now I am in trouble.
Do you hear the thumping up the stairs?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I saw I heard the Facebook Live door slam there.
Yeah, you hear that? Beating on the door. All right. Again, our purpose here was to promo our episode 26 of our YouTube episode. Go to YouTube, search out Play By Your Podcast. And like I said, we only have 5 views on that video so far. It's usually around 20. So hopefully people go and watch. And I'm running the banners on the bottom so you can find our audio as well. There's our YouTube. And there is our social media. And there is our email. And voice message. We haven't had a voice message in a long time either.
No, right here.
So, yeah, right there.
It looks like we're trying to reenact scenes from E.T., Todd.
Yeah.
Third home.
What was that?
I don't even know.
I missed the episode where E.T. was drowning.
That was the worst.
That was pretty bad.
Oh, God.
His snorkel was
What?
glowing.
One thing that people might not know is we love it when we mess things up. We love teasing each other and ribbing each other, and that one will get some mileage. I believe that was a Predator slash Chewbacca slash ET.
It was a mashup of sorts, wasn't it?
All while drowning.
All right.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks for joining us all. Join us next time. Look for episode 27 coming out here in a few days on audio. Find that YouTube on video, and we'll see you soon.
See ya. Peace.